What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Zoodiac being the next Zoodiac. The engine is back, but only in the extra deck. We'll talk about that in a bit. First, I really hope the audio on this video is okay. Texas is in like this heat dome where it's 100 degrees, like a fifth day in a row here in June. The AC is blasting, my fan's running, so hopefully the condenser mic is doing its job and you all get pretty crispy audio. But if I also stop to take a bit of a drink, it is freaking hot overall in here, and it is what it is. I try to get these videos out in a timely manner, and the market changes really fast, so I don't edit and chop things up. I try to get them to you as reasonably as possible. Now, a lot of y'all are acting allergic to gold rares, so the gold rare chalk and nine's just sitting there. I personally would settle at this point and just double sleeve my extra deck, which a lot of Starlights and thicker cards got pros DQ'd a while ago, so it's a pretty good idea to double sleeve your extra deck anyways, in my opinion. But the ultra rare here is going mad up. Super rare Borbo is mad up, and that's because any deck that can use 2 level 4s can go into Chalk and 9, then overlay into Borbo, attack direct, go Hammer Kong, go Tiger Mortar, and Zoodiac with a freaking lot of materials, to censor that lightly. I've been playing Zoo for a while over on Master Duel, so I get even in these current metagames, Zoodiac is a very effective tool still to this day, able to chain to itself, able to do crazy things, and people figured this one out. Now, Versus, not the most impactful deck in the world, but still topping regionals and doing better than people gave it credit for, myself included. That's why you're seeing techs like this actually do well. Tiger Mortar, however, first edition, not really moving all that much right now, probably because it's from the era where Megatons are the same rarities for release, so it's got a competing ultra rare Tiger Mortar here, and that's why people are like, okay, this is max rarity, this is max rarity, and then slowly getting, you know, the Hammer Kong and the other Tiger Mortar that they want to end up getting. Let's go ahead and talk quarter century rares. Another one's been bought out. Danger Nessie is spiking here, up towards 70 some odd dollars, and its sales rate does reflect that people were even spending up into that on the buyout, going kind of crazy. And there's been a large discussion, and I want to address something. I've been having some words hurled at me as people are, how do I put it, losing their ass in the market. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of what Konami will do. I didn't think they would be bringing over the rarity collection, but people are saying my takes are warped on quarter century rare and ultimate rares, the rarity collection, because I'm not invested. I'm not a current vendor. First off, you're assuming what I have and not even going with what's public on the channel. First off, I got in sets of Gold Series and Megatons to show EU versus US. I got to keep those. So my singles are also decreasing in value. And second off, I lost thousands on the OCG rarity collection because I get those cards for the Patreon where I bring in ultimate rares that we shouldn't be getting over here, which they haven't done since Rise of the Duelist, and now the new technology is here. So I tend to do that on the Patreon, and I sunk thousands into the rarity collection that it's just gonna sit there. What am I gonna do? Resell it to Japan at half the price? Build past format decks for myself, of course. I got extras for that, but since it's gonna be in English, the English is preferable. It's very cool. And if it is a 1-for-1 port of the rarity collection, which I have to hold on these cards at least till then to see if it is, I'm out plenty of money too. So don't assume my takes on Market Watch have any bias to do with what I personally have. I am getting hit by it just like you in a different way and similar way because my staples went down also, okay? When I come to Market Watch, I bring my best takes forward as personally, unobjectively as I can to spell them out so that I bring that information, and when I am biased, I say when I'm biased. I bring that straight forward to y'all. I just feel a bit of a type of way, and again, I get people are hurting when they're losing money and they want to lash out and take it out on someone. It ain't me, and my calls overall, still doing pretty good. I said it would be cards original to the set that would be doing decent, that don't have a Starlight competitor. Here goes Nessie for a bit, although I wouldn't have called this one personally. These are the kind of cards I would have been looking at, and Nessie is an interesting one. The Danger Engine, super underlooked, and still doing, you know, some things, Dark World here and there, that kind of thing. But yep, Nessie going kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and talk about the conversations on quarter century rare as a whole, because some of these are sinking really fast. What you have to realize is these are almost as pulled as often as collector rares, but individually are much harder to see. But because they have a similar ratio, the junk ones are going to act similarly to junk collector rares, meaning they'll be weighed down in price, and the individual singles that do well will be sticking up in price. Ones that become mid-max rarity, because it's not going to overtake Starlight. Starlight is still nicer to a lot of people, but it's still going to be a competing copy, will affect, I think, the sales rates on the Starlight. I tried to say Super Poly at the same time, which really was a tongue twister, but people are pointing out the quarter century sales on quarter century rare super polymerization are not doing all that well, right? Well, neither are the Starlight rares versus the past ones. Look at how they've slowed down since. There's only 6 sold this month versus the only 9, brand new ones that have sold. But look at how they were selling before, especially back here in March, flying off the shelf. And yeah, there's bits to different metagames. This is still seeing some play, not as much play, but it is still, getting sales rates, but sales rates are slowing. That's what I mean when I say it will affect Starlights, in my opinion, is that slowed sale rates, up quantities over time, versus the other one being there as a cheaper option means people will sometimes lean towards that. However, it is interesting also that people seem to, as a whole, be choosing ultimate rares over quarter century rares, similar to collector rares. So we see here that Volcanic Shell ultimate rare is mad out pricing, but this does have some recent hype, to be fair, the new Volcanic card, so it is up a little bit extra, versus its quarter century rare is still much more preferred in its market price. And same with one that's not as relevant, Madolche Queen Tiramisu is still, even for its unlimited, costing more than the quarter century secret rare out here by about $10-ish. So both of these are far outclassed by their ultimate rares, especially the first ed counterparts, but one is not, which again, I guess is a little bit different because it's not a core set ultimate rare, but an OTS ultimate rare from a more modern era. Zeus Yep, which we just talked about in Market Watch, right? Well, the ultimate rare has actually been nonstop down since, it's been less in the metagame. It has that quarter century rare announced, and it's been chilling out a bit and is all the way down to $58 under its already falling market price here at the end. So it's been nosediving off a cliff from the competition, and the quarter century rare is still also falling relatively fast, right? But this is another example of having multiple different rarities and competitions where it can affect the sales rate, and people are going to pick and choose. But this is a very active card within the metagame. So you can see that all these mid-max rarities will compete with each other. It will affect their sales rates, being used or not. And that's what I mean. It's not going to be an immediate fire sale panic drop like Baroness. It's going to be a gradual overtime thing where over 3 months, oh, there's more of these Starlights here with the competition. Oh, 6 months out, wow, that is starting to go down a little bit. When I'm talking about those changes due to quarter century rare affecting the Starlights, it's not going to be a knee-jerk reaction. It's going to be a supply and demand overtime thing that we saw exactly like with Droll and Lockbird getting a mid-max in collector rare, really tanking the ultimate rare until Droll came back into the metagame and both the collector rare and ultimate rare were able to spike together. That's why I also say with quarter century rares and the upcoming rarity collection, consider the cards that are going to be revolving into metagames and could be affected by prices to decide when to get them, versus ones that are kind of going to be off to the side chilling. A lot of people are like pointing out terraforming and how it's performing, but you're not maxing on terraforming or anything, like you're not able to due to the FNL list unless I'm missing something. And then you also have cards like Dark Hole that just aren't going to see play right now. What are you going to do? Play LOB format? I might actually pick one up for LOB format. I don't know. I have my OCG extended art ones. But it brings me back to another conversation where a lot of people are giving investor advice into Yu-Gi-Oh! While I'm, again, not a financial advisor, it comes down to, like, I prefer classical cards because they tend to hold better, but those are tanking in the market because the market was super juiced. I'm even going for OCG 10 slabs right now for the ultimate rares we didn't get as the slab market crashes, and we're also in tough economic times, which our collector market has never experienced. We had our metagame market in the 08 recession, and it spiked so hard, and Edison feels like it's replicating that a bit here in tough times, but collector cards aren't what you play with. Instead, is something that can be sold in multiple currencies, go around, but it still depends on people's faith in it. So right now, a lot of faith is shaken with a market falling out to a degree, but you can't predict the twists and turns. I think my OCG slabs will continue to go down a bit more. I'm sinking in because it's something I always wanted, and now the prices are acceptable to me, and I think long-term they'll do okay versus the prices I'm spending, and I think it's a cool collection to pick up. When it comes down to what you're after for collection versus investment versus what you want in your trade binder because it's hot, things are going to be different. You're going to make your calls. You're going to be right and wrong sometimes, and same with me. I'm right a lot. I'm also right for the wrong reason a lot, and then sometimes I'm dead wrong and things fall out. But quarter century rares, they are mid-max, they are going to compete, and they are going to affect some of them long-term, in my opinion. So, again, that's my long-winded take on what's happening with the set, the buyouts, me blasting a little back at all the emotional distress sent my way over how the market is. That's just where I'm at. Hope you're having a great day. Triple Tactic Thrust is going up a bit. It's been about $6 up over the month, and a lot of people have been telling me about this one. It's really, versus the last week, only up like $3 though and getting sales rates. I will say for this, it goes up quickly on the front page. I think with this card, a lot of the favorability towards it is knowing it's unlikely to be in this reprint season and cycle like the Megatins, and people assuming the Rarity Collection's a 1-for-1 port. So a lot of people are comfortable going for this. I'm guessing we won't get Mavens with the Rarity Collection coming, but it would be odd for Konami to skip out on continuing a line of a successful product that was a home run on its debut. But I feel like the Rarity Collection might replace that. We'll have to wait and see. But a lot of people seem to have pretty big faith that this is not going to be reprinted this year. That is the card to go ahead and keep. It's seeing play in the WCQ. I can play it in the fall season even if it goes down. So be aware this is up right now, but the WCQ season will be ending, and you could see a lot of meta cards, even if they're not up for reprint slates, go down. Remember, even Infinite Impermanence had that happen to it, so it's bound to happen eventually to most meta cards unless they just defy gravity, which can happen. Also, finally, I wanted to go over Wild Survivors and just say, we talk about cards going up a lot. Almost every single card in here is down right now, including the Collector Rare Floodgates, including the Dinosaurs. Versus market price, everything looks like it has a lower listing through here, so be aware of that. Like Hungry Burger was 54 not too long ago, market price 43. The meme is, going out versus the dollars. And, the Ground Xeno was 32. A lot of people seem to have gotten the cards. This is still getting ripped open at locals, still being sold. People are still getting the singles and listing them. They're not at the highest quantities in the world, but it is very interesting to see something like Collector Rare Tenki do so freaking bad and have a lot of potential for the future. So if you're looking at cards from this set, it is getting better. Versus is still very expensive as a deck for what it is, but it also is chilling out to a very large degree and finally getting its quantities on listings. And if you wanted other decks from the set like the Burger one, it's pretty much been cheap from the rip. So this model, it is interesting. It seems like there was a lot of FOMO at the start with Versus and how it was actually performing, and now that the people who initially wanted it got it, it's starting to get a little cheaper, but so many Ultras still keeps it expensive, unfortunately. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch, hearing out my rants. Hopefully the audio was okay for it all. I appreciate y'all being here. I couldn't have my living I do without y'all, using the code that supports the channel, ad revenue from watching, and also hunt down the cool collectibles that I do. Like, I'm able to live to a point where I'm able to go further and do that kind of stuff, and I really appreciate you hearing me out. I get a little emotional tied when it's like longtime channel members trying to call me out on things that don't exist. I'd rather address it here on the platform as well. Thanks for watching, everybody.